What's up everybody, Kinetic here and welcome back to Dragon Age Inquisitions. We're going to continue taking a look at class builds. This time is going to be for the Sword and Shield Warrior tank that I put together. Like I said in the original video for my two-hand warrior, these builds are designed to be compatible both for your main character to play as a tank or to be applied for your AI companions. There was no respecking out of the original abilities, so we still have Warcry and Payback Strike in our build. And of course, if you guys have any feedback, definitely let me know your constructive criticisms in the comment section below. We're gonna get right into it, guys. Alright, let's take a look at the weapon and shield tree. As I said, we still have the original abilities that come with a sword and shield warrior. We have Payback Strike, which is one of those two original skills. You recover from any disabled condition and lash out with a great blow against nearby enemies. If you've recently taken damage, you hit that much harder and stagger your foes. This is one of the best abilities for any tank. Definitely not something you want to remove from the arsenal for a tank, because anytime that the warrior will get stunned, knocked down, or anything like that, he can get right back up, back into the action, and throw it right back in their face. Amazing ability, and you don't even have to wait as well to be knocked down or anything like that. It's kind of like a light version of Shield Bash, which is in this build. You can use it any time, and yeah, have fun with it. It's only an 8-second cooldown as well, so you can use it pretty frequently. Over in the Vanguard, right, we've got Warcry. You taunt all nearby enemies with a shouted challenge, gaining extra guard for each enemy affected. Duration 4 seconds, 20% guard per enemy. His bars for guard is going to fill up really quickly. Alright, so those are our two original skills that come with a sword and shield warrior if you're making it for your character, but definitely if you're putting this onto your companion for their tank build, make sure that they have these two abilities. Growing from there, what we're going to do is we're going to start over in the Battle Master tree. For your first point that you're going to put in, you're going to take Grappling Chain. You guys saw this in my two-hand warrior build. This is one of those abilities you simply must have again honestly, I would say a lot of these abilities are just really good for both offensive and defensive warriors. Grappling Chain, of course, is going to allow you to control more enemies on the field by pulling them to you. If somebody is harassing your mage, for example, or whatever, just pull them to you. If somebody is running away, just pull them to you. You got absolute control over dudes with this chain. It's fantastic. Next up, we're going to actually go back to Vanguard, and guess what? That's right, Charging Bull, another absolutely invaluable skill, great for both offensive and defensive tanks. You slam into enemies, increasing your guard and knocking them down as you break through their lines. This, I'm practically spamming this ability, honestly, because just the two effects in one make it so much fun and so great to have as a tank. You're getting guard for each enemy that you hit. You're just like the Grappling Chain, you can protect your range characters if you see them getting harassed or something like that, and you feel like just showing them who's boss. Bam! Shoulder charge right to the face. This and Warcry together, you should almost never have any problems with keeping your guard up. Guard, of course, is that extra protection that goes over your health bar, so that way it takes damage before you actually take damage. Alright, so we're going to leave Vanguard for a while. We're going to go over to Weapon and Shield and pick up Warrior's Resolve passive. You fight all the harder when you're hurting, gaining stamina when you lose health. So you may be fighting a really tough battle, maybe they're just draining your guard and they're getting some shots in to your chin. You're going to start losing health, but you're going to start gaining stamina a lot faster. So of course this is going to allow you to do Warcry, to do Charging Bull, whatever it takes to get your guard back up and get you back into the fight, to turn the tide of battle back into your favor. Alright, next up for our fourth point, we're going to take Shield Bash. I don't think I really need to explain this, do I? We know what this does. You're going to be dealing out pain, but it's going to feel so good to you. This is actually pretty much going to replace your use from Payback Strike as kind of like a damage ability. Now you're just going to be saving Payback Strike for when you actually need to dish out some payback. Instead, use Shield Bash. It's going to be a lot more painful to your enemies. It's got just as short of a cooldown, 8 seconds, and it also does bonus damage versus guarded enemies as well. So if you see some dude with a lot of guard, Shield Bash the crap out of him. For our 5th point, we're going to head over and take Lunge and Slash. Now you've unlocked quite a few abilities. You're dancing all over the place, lunging at enemies, pulling other ones to you, yelling in their faces, and then throwing your shield down their throats. This is going to make your tank, by this point, lots and lots of fun to play, no doubt. You lunge forward, then spin with a slashing strike if your first blow connects. You can use this attack to close with opponents. This is another great way to close the gap between you and your enemies. Maybe instead of wanting to pull enemies to you, like the Grappling Chain, you want to bring the fight over to them, get into their zone, and you don't happen to need any guard. Lunge and Slash is going to be perfect for those situations. Next up, we're going to go with the passive Turn the Blade. Any blow you can see, you can turn aside. All damage incoming from the front is reduced. Damage resistance now 20%. As a general rule of thumb, of course, I think for all of us that like to play as tanks in games, you always want to keep your enemies like to one side of you. You never really want to be surrounded, so it just makes sense. And it's good practice to keep your enemies in front of you, and this is a great way to also reduce any damage that may be coming to you, even if you're not guarding. Speaking of guarding, the next point that we're going to take is Shield Wall. You stand firm and block incoming attacks at the cost of stamina. Each block adds to your guard. You move much more slowly while sustaining this ability. Which is very true. You can barely move at all while you're holding up Shield Wall. This is a great ability to use if you happen to have recently used Warcry, if you happen to recently have used Charging Bull, or for whatever reason it just makes more sense to sit there and block and gain guard rather than use one of those other abilities. A great damage mitigator skill. Alright, it's time to leave the weapon and shield section, and we're going to go back over to Vanguard. For our 8th point, we're going to unlock the passive Cutting Words. Your party does more damage to taunted targets as you rattle your enemy's nerves and goad them into mistakes that leave them open. So, if you're using Warcry often, 20% more damage against all those enemies that were caught in that Warcry. Really, really good stuff. Next up, for the 9th point, Trust the Steel. You know how to make the most out of your equipment, gaining a bonus to armor when you have active guard. So while you are guarded, you're also going to gain 20% extra armor. And finally, for the 10th point, we're going to take Challenge. Your powerful shout carries across the battlefield, taunting a targeted enemy and improving your guard. So you don't need Warcry because it's only one enemy, or you're just trying to maybe snipe taunt somebody that may be harassing your mage or harassing your archer or something like that. This is the ability to use if you don't happen to want to use Grappling Hook for whatever reason. Maybe you want that extra guard, whatever it is. Challenge is a good alternative. Now that you've seen the active and passive skills for this build, let's put it all together and take a look at it in action. That's it for this video on the Sword and Shield Tank Warrior for Dragon Age Inquisition. I would love some feedback if you guys happen to use this build for your main character, or you happen to use it for your AI companion. Maybe you put it on Cassandra or Blackwall. Let me know in the comments back here on this video how it turned out for you. If you're using a different build, again, like I said, some constructive criticism, I don't mind it at all. Leave it in the comment section as well. Click the like button and stay subscribed, guys. More videos are coming very soon. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.